Sports and TV show streams going live on YouTube, streaming live on YouTube. This is Gray Ridge hosting Catch Up, which is like a DVR. And so they have a lot of channels on here that have Catch Up, but not every channel has Catch Up. But they have a Get TV Catch Up, which has the Rescue 911 videos. Let's see, where is it? Oh, it's alphabetically. Oh, wait, this is just March 8th. They don't have... I gotta exit out of here. I'll go to Fubo TV, because there's more Rescue 911 videos there. Oh, okay, let's see. Go to my recordings. But this is like my DVR, so let's see. Do Rescue 911. I got like 34 episodes on here. I'll do Niagara River Rescue and Smoke-Filled House.
This program contains true stories of rescues. All of the 911 calls you will hear are real. Whenever possible, the actual people involved have helped us reconstruct the events as they happened.
When rescuers are racing to save a life, their worst enemy is often time. I'm William Shatner. Tonight, true stories of courage and compassion on Rescue 911. We begin on August 24th, 1988 in Ontario, Canada, as friends Janelle Spain and Karen Himmel were enjoying a camping trip.
Every year, millions of tourists flock to Niagara Falls, drawn by its power and spectacular views. Over the years, the falls have also claimed many lives.
It's a strange area, and unfortunately, water going over has a special attraction to some people and lures them actually to their own deaths.
About a mile upstream, a set of control gates stretches across the Niagara, regulating the flow of water to the falls. This dam is known as the point of no return. Any boat or person caught in the powerful currents beyond it will be carried right over the falls. 25-year-old Janelle Spain and 23-year-old Karen Himmel were staying at a campground upriver from Niagara Falls.
We decided to bring the boat. Now just bought it about a week ago.
As they approached the entrance to the Niagara River, signs warned them to stay to the right. On the left were the control gates that lead to the falls and the power turbine intakes.
We were out cruising around out there, just spending the day. We shut the boat off for a while, laid out in the sun. Back in Indiana, when the sun sets, it takes maybe a half hour to 45 minutes. Here up in Canada, it almost like drops. We didn't realize how fast the sun set. We had decided to head back. We were going to spend the evening downtown. I was certain we were heading back to the canal, which led back into the Welland River.
Sheila and Tom Hodges were on the road that parallels the Niagara River, on their way to a movie.
I could just barely see that it was a single engine boat. And that kind of really got my attention, you know, that I don't think anyone in their right mind would go beyond that point with just one kicker, one engine.
Oh, God, Tom.
Appeared as if they had actually increased their speed, and then they went right over the dam.
Dad.
When we looked over the edge, here was the boat, upright. These two people still in the boat. How that happened, I mean, I was just astonished. I couldn't believe that they were still in the boat. They actually were turning the boat around, trying to head back up the dam. Where we were, there was very little traffic, and it was such a helpless situation.
Tom flagged down a parked tour bus.
Right at that moment, one of the girls fired the red flare in the air.
Police Department. Officers were immediately dispatched.
I was shaking from head to toe, and I really had little hope that they'd be saved. And I just kept imagining what that would feel like, you know, being at the brink. And knowing you're gone.
When we continue,
Once you get to the control gates, you're in enough water and no chance.
Wait a minute. I wasn't trying to start over.
this program contains true stories of rescues.
How do you fast
All of the
forward it?
911 calls you will hear are real. About a mile upstream, a set of...
Bought it about a week ago.
As they approached the entrance, officers were immediately dispatched.
You know Tommy. You know Dick.
797-4222 to schedule a private
7523. That's 1-800-2...
Imprint.com.
60 pounds with Nutrisystem.
I want
Isn't even contacts, hearing, including hearing aids and batteries, and prescription drug coverage.
Not much time. They actually had two perils in front of them, the intakes for the turbines and the falls. Either one, they were going to die.
When the officers arrived, they spotted the two women in the rapids less than 500 yards from the falls.
We started screaming, swim towards the light. Come on, swim! We tried to hand back and forth between the two of them, and we lost one of them. And I turned to my sergeant and said, one's gone. And we started to concentrate on the other one. When I said that to him, I meant that one is going over the falls.
Constable Tacinelli threw Karen a rope, while Sergeant Sherrar guided her in with his flashlight.
And the other guy just kept calling, keep swimming, keep swimming. Because if she hadn't been coming over toward us, then Elliot was going to go in. Because we figured we lost one already, there's no way we're going to lose the second one.
Rescue 911, weekdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central.
Karen had a deep gash in her leg from the boat's propeller, and she was in shock, but she was safe.
I remember being pulled up over the wall, and the police who was rescuing me, all I could see was blood down his hand. I was shaking. I was scared. They laid me down. I remember them laying me down on the ground. I yelled. I said, "Where's Chanel?" They wouldn't answer me, and I thought she went over.
Rescuers with the Niagara Falls Fire Department joined in the search for Janelle, including firefighter Bob Beddington.
She had gone on down, and I felt at this point there was no possible way she could be saved. But the captain told us to take a drive further downriver and, just see what we could see. As soon as we stopped, I could hear her screaming out there.
Firefighter Bob Carpenter was also a member of the rescue team.
At the time I spotted the victim, she was approximately 350 yards from the Breaking Falls. She was crying for help and said she was totally exhausted, that she couldn't swim to me. I told her, I don't give a... If you're tired, you're going to start swimming to me, and I don't give a damn if you're tired or hurt. You're going to swim to me now. I had to shock her into reality. If she didn't swim back to me, we had no chance of getting her. There was no way that I could possibly throw that rope far enough for her to get it. So there was only one way of doing it left. She couldn't come to us, we were going to have to go to her. I'm not a brave guy, but it looked like we had a shot, so I took it. And I remember thinking, hey, this is crazy. What are you doing? Your mother raised an idiot here.
We're coming to get you. Keep swimming. Come on, keep swimming. Anita.
I was really tired of this. I did right up to her, and if she panics and grabs onto me, didn't think I'd be able to fight her off, and she probably would drown me. I could, but I had to slow down when we came close to the shore because the rocks just chewed up his back end.
Careful, careful on the rock. Okay, you got it. You got it. Right here. All right.
And she threw her arms around me, and she just crushed me practically. And it was the most incredible feeling I have ever experienced in my life. It was a totally clean save. I mean, she wasn't injured. All she was wet. And she was alive, and it worked, and we did it, and it was fantastic.
30 seconds after Janelle was saved, her boat reached the edge of the falls. Recently, Karen and Janelle got a chance to personally thank their rescuers.
I remember you. We need more people like him. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. He's no fool, and I don't care if somebody says, well, that's his job. No, that's not his job. He didn't need to do that.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Bob Bevington is the one who physically went in the water. But Bob Carpenter, he pushed me. He was outstanding on that megaphone. If it wasn't for him, I probably would have given up. It's helped that we've remained friends. We've been able to deal with it together. You can talk to everybody in the world, but if they haven't been through it, they don't know what it's like. They can't feel that water. They can't feel that fear of not coming up for air. They don't know what it's like to think you're going to go over those falls and never return.
Next,
I'm on the floor. All right. I can't move. I'm losing it. No, Bobby, don't do that. Stay with me. Stay with me.
This is big, Sharon.
Folks, it's time to get up.
Consumer is in their name, Consumer Cellular, so of course they're going to be customer-centered.
They've been Johnny on the spot and...
At creditrepair.com, dreams do...
It's a relief.
I could dispatch the fire department there.
911 emergency. I'm on the floor. All right. I can't breathe. Is there smoke in your house? Yes. Okay.
by the time Barbara woke up, she was already overwhelmed by the smoke and toxic gases.
Your bedroom is behind the garage. All right. Is your bedroom door shut? No. Okay. Is the smoke coming in the bedroom? No. Okay. You're doing real well. Stay real calm. We're going to help you. No, you're not going to die. Please help me.
We still have her on the line at this time. We are trying to get a better location.
Olympia police arrived first, including Sergeant Bob McBride.
We went around initially trying to find open doors or something that was unlocked so we could get into the residence.
The window's locked.
It's a situation where you're almost pulling your hair out. It's frustrating because you know there's somebody in there that needs your help, and your hands are sort of tied trying to figure out how you're going to get in there to help them.
We're helping you.
I eventually climbed in through a bedroom window and made numerous attempts trying to crawl through the house to get to where the lady was trapped. You could only hold your breath for so long and get so hard, or you feel like you're going to lose consciousness.
McBride found one of his accidentally dead, but none of the police officers could get far enough in the house to find her.
Barbara, you're doing real well. You're staying calm, and that's the most important thing. I'm not. I'm afraid. Oh, please help me. God almighty. Please help me.
But I was also getting concerned and running out of things to say to her to reassure her.
The first fire truck arrived within 5 minutes of the call.
Okay, the fire department is there now, too. It's just a matter of a few minutes, and we're going to get you out. Please help them now. I'm losing it. No, Barbara, don't do that. Stay with me. Stay with me. Let me help you.
As information is gathered from Barbara, Gay now dispatched to fireman Greg Ferguson and the others on scene.
It was a very frustrating search in the fact that you had to crawl on your hands and knees trying to identify everything by feel. We couldn't see a foot in front of us.
It's disorienting. It's like being underwater. You don't know which way is up. The air masks that we wear restrict your voice. The equipment that we wear restricts your hearing.
Bang on the window. I can't. Bang on the side of the wall. I can't. Get up there. Don't you listen. Please, God.
It
took me a few minutes to realize that the window was high and she could not break it out. She was having respiratory distress and she was disoriented in the room also.
They knew Barbara was trapped in her bedroom, continuing to breathe the toxic smoke and carbon monoxide, but they could not find her.
One, can't they hurry? They are hurrying, honest to God, they are. Can't. Please. I'm still here, Barbara. I won't leave you. I won't leave you until you're outside. Please. Barbara? Barbara? I know. I'm dying. Can you hear somebody outside? No. Can you hear them? Please help. Speak up, Barbara. Please help me. Good. See, they're coming, Barbara. Hang on.
I stopped, held my breath, and I heard a moaning. Worked my way along the bed, and that's when I found her. It was a relief. The frustration factor was over. We'd done the first half of the job, finding the person. The second half was getting her out, keeping her alive. She was still conscious, but not responding real well. So I made the decision to take off my air mask and turn on the positive pressure so that the air actually shoots out of the mask and forces into her.
By taking off his mask, Ferguson broke policy and risked his life for hers.
Take a breath. Take a breath. To give her oxygen.
15 minutes after her call for help, Barbara was out of the house. She was treated for smoke inhalation and released from the hospital within hours. Both of her cats were also treated and successfully revived at the scene.
It's every firefighter's dream to save somebody. We train for it, we work for it. That's our job to go in and get them out. And it gives us great satisfaction.
Next, Rescue 911.
Looks good to me. If Johnny hadn't been on the other end of that line, I think I'd have given up. I think I'd have just let it go. That was my only link with life then. She saved my life, along with Craig Ferguson. How do you express that? I don't know how to express that.
Barbara's life has changed dramatically in the 3 years since the fire.
Everything became more important to me. Your friends become more valuable. The flowers are prettier. The mountains are prettier. And I believe in living life daily.
I don't know who that man is beside her, if it's her husband or her boyfriend or her son, or if he's just a friend. This was Niagara River Rescue and Smoke-Filled House. For more full episodes of Rescue 911, as well as Flipper and other TV shows and other sports streams, hit the big red button and subscribe. Peace out, YouTube. Okay, this is another full episode of Rescue 911. And this is my last stream for Sunday. I'm gonna delete this episode since I already streamed it live. I think I will put up Burning Jeep Pin and Gotta Get to School.
This program contains true stories of rescues. All of the 911 calls you will hear are real. Whenever possible, the actual people involved have helped us reconstruct the events as they happened.
We begin on the morning of February 2nd, 1991, along a stretch of road that winds through the rolling hills near Paso Robles, California.
Gordy and Jane Ortiz and their 2 teenage children were heading for their weekend place in Heritage Ranch.
The ground was still damp. It must have rained pretty well the night before. There was a car in front of us. It was a Jeep Wagoneer going the speed limit.
Bonnie Hogue, driving right behind the Ortizes, recognized the driver of the Jeep, 17-year-old Kim Potts.
I knew the car well. Kim was our babysitter.
It's a very beautiful drive. But when you get on this one particular road leading to the ranch, it's a very windy, narrow road.
This pickup just seemed to come out of nowhere. There was absolutely no way that it could have been avoided.
All the homes are back off the road. And you get in an accident unless somebody else comes by. You're out there alone.
Get out!
The car was already starting to smoke inside. I tried once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and I couldn't get it open.
I felt helpless. I felt like I was losing one of my older children.
You could see flames coming from the other side of the hood.
Her window was down, but the steering wheel was crushed right on her lap. She was pinned in. I just wanted to help her so bad. I can remember vividly turning around to my daughter and my son, and I said, "Tina, Gordy, start walking away. Take off, go." I didn't want them to see her burn to death.
As obvious there was not much time left for the problem pulling away. All I could think of is that I was watching a girl burn to death in front of my eyes.
I'm not all expenses. I have it. I called the open here.
Call 800-279-0828. That's 800 to Kim.
It's a type of scream I'll never, ever forget. And it was within seconds that the flames went nuts.
I went up to people and I asked them, "Do you have a fire extinguisher?" And some people would reply, and other people would just stare at me as if maybe I was speaking some other language.
My God, do you have a fire extinguisher?
I needed help. I needed a miracle. God, I needed a miracle. And she was already starting to catch fire.
person. You know, from the long blonde hair to getting shorter and shorter, and before you saw a clear face, and then before you knew it, it's a red face, and it's just something that I'm never gonna forget.
Gary Busis was heading up to some property he owned in the area when he came upon the crash.
It was obvious there was not much time left before the car had been totally engulfed. All I could think of is that I was going to watch that girl burn to death in front of my eyes. By the time I got to the car, the passenger side of the car was engulfed in flames. I looked out through the window. I remembered that I had a chain in my truck. At least I thought I had the chain in my truck. By the time I got back with the chain, the flames were vastly greater. The terror and torment that must be going on in the girl's mind. I had nightmares about that for weeks and weeks after that. Like 15 seconds after I hit the victim of the car, the total car was engulfed in flames. The car burned entirely, even down to the tires.
She was so hot and just so smoldering. There was no water around.
Bobby, I love you. I love you. Please don't leave me, okay? I'm right here, honey. I'm not going to leave you. I will not leave you. She kept telling me that she loved me. Then she'd scream out in pain, tell me that it hurt.
I wanted her to live, but I didn't think it was going to happen.
Paramedic John Dunkel assessed Kim's condition at the scene.
The first thing I thought about is, God, this poor girl, what's going to happen to her life now? And the second thing I thought about is, this has got to be a parent's worst nightmare.
I could see a little smoke in the distance. So I rounded a curve and saw this dark Jeep sideways on the road and the ski lights. I knew it was our car.
You have a Kim Potts in there.
The driver said we have a Kim.
I'm with you.
And I just felt my world fall apart. Kim was airlifted to the burn unit at Sherman Oaks Community Hospital, 170 miles away, with third-degree burns over 35% of her body. They told us the extent of her injuries and that they were life-threatening. They just something we couldn't deal with.
Either my husband or myself were with her 24 hours. There were many times that I just hold on to her and just try to somehow make the pain come from her and go into me. It was so hard to watch her. One of the hardest things was to see Kim building up courage when she knew she was going to have to go through something like physical therapy.
She's always been shy and quiet. It was just amazing to watch. I was really surprised how strong and how determined she was. We were told she wouldn't walk for 12 to 18 months, and she was determined to walk for her graduation. That was her goal. Dr. Michelle Bruns treated Kim at the Burn Center.
It was a miraculous cure. She was in our burn center just shy of 2 months. And there was a magical transformation from really a teenager to a full woman.
After weeks of painful skin grafts and physical therapy for her burnt limbs and shattered leg, Kim was able to leave the hospital. On June 13th, 1991, just 4 months after the accident, Kim's class graduated from Paso Robles High School.
I just want to tell everybody that helped in my rescue. I owe my life to everybody, and I'd do anything for them. All you have to do is call me.
She's even told me that when she becomes a doctor, if I'm ever sick or anything happens to me, she's going to take care of me the rest of my life. But I told her she really should major in geriatrics, so I won't need a pediatrician.
The men and women who rescued Kim were honored for heroism by the California Highway Patrol. 1 year later, her family remains close to them.
Calling you?
When the situation got very dangerous, they didn't back off. They stayed in there. Well, they made a difference on this earth, and it's not all of us can say that.
Good things can definitely come out of your tragedies. Many good things.
Next.
I realized that the call was a little bit more severe than what I thought it was because something was really panicking.
From Music City, Nashville, Tennessee.
Johnny Cash is all new this week with special guest.
Hear all about it. So tell me, how much have you lost?
55 pounds.
5 more than I did.
10 inches in your first 2 months. Money back, guaranteed.
My body type is more of an...
They're standing by. Call right now.
What are you waiting for? You could have...
Emergency 911.
Not every call that comes into a 911 center is a matter of life and death, but dispatchers must be prepared to handle any type of emergency. At 8:32 a.m. on the morning of May 29th, 1991, in Douglasville, Georgia, dispatcher Tim Bridges picked up a little girl's call for help.
Emergency 911.
My baby's asleep and won't wake up.
Your baby's asleep and won't wake up.
No, my daddy.
Your daddy.
I have to go to school.
What's your...
At first, I didn't think there really was a problem except for her father just wouldn't get up and take her to school.
Are you on Parkway?
Yeah, Parkway.
Okay, he won't wake up.
No.
Can you tell if he's breathing all right? What's your name?
Colin. He is breathing. He'll wake up and he'll wake up and go back to sleep. He'll wake up, go back to sleep. And I have to go to school.
Okay, Holly.
My concern right then was to get somebody out there just to see what the problem was, if there was a problem.
Hey, Holly. Holly.
What?
You all right?
I'm scared.
You're scared? You're scared?
I'm scared of ambulances.
Okay, you're afraid of ambulances? Okay.
Nice to you.
Yes, they are.
Right then when she said ambulance, especially when Holly started crying, then I realized that the call was a little bit more severe than what I thought it was because something was really panicking her.
I shaken and tried to wake him up, and I couldn't wake him up. I was afraid that something was wrong with him and he was sick.
Yeah.
Oh, her dad is in the car. Her daughter, the dad isn't in the bed. Looked like the dad that wouldn't wake up was in the car with the door open.
He's what? He is breathing.
Paramedic Charles Brookshire kept in contact with the dispatchers.
They said that the person was going in and out of consciousness. You start to assess that in your mind. We weren't sure what could have been the problem. It could have been maybe even blood pressure that's created a stroke or something along those lines. Nobody's there with you but your father, right? Okay. Hang on for me, okay, Holly? Okay. I'm going to get somebody to come down there and look at it for you, okay?
Okay. What is it going to be, a lot of people?
It's just going to be one deputy at first, okay? Holly, Holly.
My concern was that I needed to calm Holly down.
Okay, Holly. Okay. What we're going to do is the sheriff's department's going to send an officer out, but we're also going to send an ambulance out in case he's sick, okay? Will you still be able to take me to school so Okay, well, we'll just have to wait and see what they say, okay?
So I have to go to school. But I was scared that the teacher would get mad.
I kept trying to compliment her for doing such a good thing, especially for a 5-year-old to pick up the phone and call 911.
Holly, I'm still here. No, I haven't 911 signal on my phone. Yeah, well, you did real good this time. How old are you, Holly? 5. I'm sorry, sweetie. I wish I could come, but I can't come. I've got to stay here and answer the phone for somebody else. I see another little girl might need me, just like you did.
When she told me that she had wanted me to come out, that got to me. And it still bothers me every time I hear the call, because I knew that she was scared.
I told her I was scared of ambulances. I'm scared of the siren.
What I was going to do was to have them turn the sirens off before they got close to her house, so it wouldn't frighten her even more.
When she told us that the fire trucks were there, a sigh of relief came to me.
Well, just go on out there and talk to them, okay? Okay, one of them's name is James Jones. Tell him you want to speak to James.
I wanted to give her someone that she could relate to on a personal basis. I knew that there was somebody there that could help her now.
She wanted to know where's our James, and it sort of startled me. How'd this little girl get my name, first of all? And I said, sure, I'm James. And I decided to take her in the house because she didn't need to see her dad in that kind of shape.
You okay? You wake up? Hey, wake up. Talk to me now.
He was unconscious, responsive only to painful stimuli.
Yeah.
He reacted to us, he sat up and then began to speak to us, but he was thoroughly confused. He had no idea what day it was or where he was at. And then shortly after, he went to unconsciousness again.
You had any kind of, We had to get some information from Holly, because Holly was our only link to what was wrong with her dad. I asked Holly had her dad been sick, and she said no. Any kind of medication?
They asked me if he took some kind of medicine.
Rick, she's gonna come in there.
I showed him what the medicine was in the refrigerator.
These your beds? Thank you.
Is her dad a diabetic,
Once we
maybe?
found the insulin, it confirmed to me that he was an insulin-dependent diabetic and that he was hypoglycemic, headed for severe insulin shock. Holly saved her dad's life, there's no question. If Holly had not called, he probably would have gone to 0, and that could end up in death.
Dan Exum was treated at Douglas General Hospital and released later that same morning.
You going to school? What are you going to do? You going to roller skating today? Yeah. When's the next time you're going?
My brother Denny's a single parent. Has been raising Holly on his own for a couple of years now. Gets Holly up in the morning, gets ready for school, works a full-time job, has all the duties of Mom and Dad.
Dan is grateful that his daughter Holly knew what to do in an emergency.
I was really surprised. I was proud of her because it's just her and I, and she's the only one that was here to help me. If it hadn't been for her, I don't know what would happen or where I'd be.
Parents should teach their kids to use 911 when it's an emergency and not to play on the phone and make the prank calls.
Easy. All right, that's great.
I called 911 all by myself. I felt like they were going to take care of my dad.
That's a cute little girl, Holly. I never saw this episode before. This is the first time I ever saw it. For more full Rescue 911 videos and sports streams, Hit the big red button and subscribe.